Today's episode, Being a Better You. In life, we must each deal with the hand we are dealt, performing our assigned role to the best of our capacity. But after total atomic annihilation, you may find the hand you were dealt has been reshuffled. Yes, gone are the simple days of yesteryear.
Yeah, you're not bloody kidding. First, Bathesda sells us an online game that's empty and broken and doesn't contain any NPCs to alleviate the boredom. Then it admits it's made a mistake, not including NPCs, and says it will add them in an update entitled Wastelanders. Then it announces that the Wastelanders update is being delayed until the first quarter of 2020, assuming they don't delay it again. Don't fret though, because they've got something special for you in the meantime. Yay! It's a subscription service that'll only cost you $100 a year, or £100 a year if you live in the UK. Again, yay! And for that $100 a year, you'll get many of the things the Fallout community's been asking for, like private worlds, with mod support to come later. Always later, isn't it, Bathesda? You also get a scrapbook for unlimited junk storage, which seems quite fitting given that this game is, I'll let you make your own mind up. You also get a survival tent that creates a new placeable fast travel point with a stash, sleeping bag, and more. You get 1,650 atoms per month to use in the shop. Oh, thank you. I am so happy about being able to spend atoms in the shop. Shop? Why do games always contain bloody shops these days? You also get the Ranger Armour outfit and exclusive icons and emotes because they always make me very happy. I just have to ask you one simple question. Here we go. Are you ready? Are you a moron? Have you been spending time in a real irradiated wasteland and had your brain fried to such a degree that you'll fall for any old shit? If the answer's yes, then bend over because Bathesda are ready and willing to shaft you with a giant mutant schlong. Again. Just look at what's on offer for this $100 a year. It's all stuff that any sane person could reasonably expect to be in a game at launch. And even a relatively sane person might expect to have arrived, within the first year of the game's release maybe? And without it being locked behind a paywall. Because everything's locked behind a paywall these days, isn't it, Bathesda? Bathesda used to be one of my favourite developers, publishers, whatever you want to call them, and Fallout 3 is a game I love to this day. But only someone with an unhealthy obsession with the Fallout universe could begin to justify this shameless piss take, because that's what it is. I mean, come on! Mods used to be just a part of the game, not something we had to pay for to enjoy. You'd buy the game, and then some clever people out there would make mods, and you'd download the mods, and you'd carry on playing those. But of course, you can't monetize it when it's done that way, can you, Bathesda? And these mods aren't even in this tote bag of mutant pus when you start paying for the service, so who knows when they'll arrive? Because, again, it's Bathesda, and it's always tomorrow, isn't it, Bathesda? Obviously, they're not the only one out there who do things like this, but it's always later. Buy the game now. Play it now, if you can play it, because it's broken to shit, and we'll make it better later. This is the model for games now. This is how things work. It's utter bollocks. And yet some people still think it's good, and they keep paying. So here's a summary for those of you who may not have been able to keep up with this shit show. I know I certainly haven't. Fallout 76 was released as a broken mess. Various patches made it even more of a broken mess. Bethesda repeatedly promised to improve things, and like in that other dystopian fiction 1984, the more that the promise was made, the worse things got. Then Bethesda announced Wastelanders to bring back NPCs to the Fallout universe and maybe make the game slightly playable. Then they delayed Wastelands, despite having nearly a year to work on it since the game's launch. God knows what they were doing. Maybe they were out the back having a fag. And now, Now, Bathesda, in a final test of fan loyalty and patience, have announced a subscription service for their broken dumpster fire of a game that will give players some of the things they should have had from the game on day one. Does that about sum it up? I'm sure I've missed something, as the game, such as it is, just doesn't quit when it comes to piling shit on top of shit. As I say, I used to love Fallout, and specifically Fallout 3. I loved that game. And I was even cautiously excited when Bathesda announced Fallout 76. But now? Well, now I've reached the point where I hear the word Fallout and all I can think about is the bullshit coming from Bathesda and the depressing fall from grace the company seems to have engineered for itself. Maybe they'll make money from this though, and maybe Fallout 76 will go on to be a decent game sometime in the far-flung future. You know, maybe someone will wander across a bunker after the apocalypse and find this game on one of the remaining computers. Maybe they'll sit down and enjoy it. You never know. Or maybe they'll run screaming from the building, preferring to brave the nightmare of the real nuclear wasteland to the pile of garbage they've just encountered. Or maybe the radiation really has fried their brain and they'll sit down and try desperately to pay the $100 a year to the long-gone company that made this pile of crap. After all, even the nuclear wasteland has morons, and while the simple days of yesteryear may be gone, some people will never even notice because they've become so desensitized to the destruction, or because they never even noticed it in the first place, or maybe because their brains have been bloody irradiated. Welcome to the future.